Up next, we're diving into the seductive world of A Sticky Situation, now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Joining us will be Kiki Swinson, a New York Times best-selling author and the actual architect behind this crime drama. As a creator, writer, and executive producer, Kiki brings her trademark flair for fast paced storytelling and complex characters to the screen in the film that explores the thin line between survival and self destruction. Get ready for the raw, revealing conversation about adapting her hit novel for the screen, working with a diverse cast, and what it really takes to bring that street lit suspense to life on film. She'll be joined tonight by several members of her cast. So get ready, everyone. It's time for a conversation. Real talk coming right at you. Real talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Capri, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
It's Vicky Judy, Orange is the New Black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it live.
Hi, I'm Trina Parks. You are listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Nothing more, nothing less. What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk with the Director and the Jedi Council. I'm the Director. I'll be with you for the next 60 minutes or so, maybe a little longer. Real Talk's brought to you each and every Monday by B2S Media. We broadcast live via the World Wide Web on YouTube. And we just hit 20,000 subscribers. That's what's up. YouTube.com/IE Network TV. Congratulations to the IE Network for reaching 20,000 mark. That's what's up. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. 20,000 subscribers and counting. So man, we got a nice show lined up for y'all today. We can get we got some people from the cast of A Sticky Situation, including the actual creator, Kiki Swinson. She should be in there too. Let's switch up our camera here. Whoa, that was cool. And should be coming through. Some of the cast members, well, we'll just talk about the film, ask them about their experience on set and, you know, what they got going on since the last time. Now, The Sticky Situation, I'm asking these questions, you know, I mean, I don't know all the answers, but a lot of them I do know because I directed that film. So it's based on a best-selling novel, Kiki Switz's best-selling novel of the same name, A Sticky Situation. Like I said, it's now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Go check that out. You could rent it, you could buy it, go support it. And it's written and produced by Kiki Swinson herself and directed by yours truly, actually. So check it out, people. Go support. We'd like to see what the cast has been up to since the last time I've seen them. It's been a while. We went through a lot to get this done, so let's get it popping. You know what I mean? What up? Over there in IG. Yeah. What's going on? Sean the Barber. What's going on? I appreciate y'all. And of course, shout out to the chat room for all y'all coming through. Appreciate y'all as well. We'll get into this in a moment. They'll be joining us a little bit later, probably around 8:15 or so ish for that segment. We'll keep them on. We'll ask a few questions. We'll keep it moving. All right, your weekend recap brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com for the weekend of June 27th through the 29th. The top 5 movies of that weekend starts with number 5, 28 Years Later, made 9.5 million over the weekend, bringing the worldwide total to $103 million and counting. Okay. Number 4 is a new entry, Megan 2.0. 10.2 million over the weekend, just came out this weekend on 27th. Made 10 million domestically, 6.8 million internationally, which brings the worldwide total of the opening weekend to $17 million plus. Number 3 on the list is Ilio. Made 10.4 million, which has now got the film at 72 million worldwide. That came out on the 20th. Not doing the typical Disney numbers, but it's at 72 million worldwide for Disney animation numbers, I should say. Number 2, speaking of Disney, How to Train Your Dragon, not animation, the live action version. And that made $19.6 million. And which is bringing that weekend, and it brings the total to $456 million worldwide plus. And number 1 this week, coming in, F1 the movie. $57 million domestically, $89 million international. What a nice entry, and it just came out this weekend. $146 million plus. This was a film that Ralph mentioned he was excited about. He thought it would do high numbers coming out the gate, and he was right. So there we go. That is your weekend recap for the weekend of June the 27th through the 29th, brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com. So yeah, that's what's up, man. This is a good. I'll tell you, this is going to be an interesting July coming in. Movie month. Let's bring in Ralph. Ralph, what's up, brother? Yo,
what's going on, everybody?
What's going on, man? Yeah, man. F1's doing them numbers. F1 is doing those numbers. I think this is gonna be an interesting July. This kids, I mean, it's nothing like what we experienced back in the day, but it gives me a little nostalgia of how you had that month of that summer month where there was like a lot of movies out that you wanted to see. There's a few out this month that I definitely want to see. I mean, obviously. You got F1, you got Jurassic World, you got Superman, you got Fantastic Four. Those are the 4 majors. But I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna check out the Smurfs. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna check out I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm gonna check these other films out because why not? I can finally.
I'm gonna skip Smurfs. I saw the first Smurfs. That was enough for me. I'm a pass over Smurfs.
I'm gonna check it out.
Despite Rihanna being Smurfette, I'm gonna pass over.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm gonna check it out. And there's a couple of other things this month that's like, dang, a lot of movies this month, man, a lot. So there you have it.
Yeah, you guys can go see the Smurfs. I'm passing.
Yeah, well, I got a kid, so I'm actually gonna check it out before I take my kid, because I know because it's when you tend to make movies like that, this is for kids, but it also has adult humor because they're catering also to our generation because we grew up on the Smurfs. You know what I'm saying? So they know that it'll be our generation that's bringing our kids to see it. So they're gonna put in jokes and things like that that will appreciate, so to speak, because of So I just want to make sure it's all good before I. Plus, you got the other stuff that's out. I think she wants to see Elio. I don't really want to see that. I didn't like the trailer for it, and it's
Yeah, it
not really
doesn't look
doing
very
no
interesting to
numbers.
me.
Yeah,
Nah, it doesn't look that
got
interesting to me.
How to
But
Train Your Dragon. I'll take her to see that. That looks interesting. How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, it's the movie, but it's live action and actually looks really good. Does the CGI of the dragon looks really good. So that's cool. Break. It's not breaking news, but it's a report. We don't know how big or how true it is, but rumor has it that Sony might decide to fold and sell back to Marvel. And this is coming from one of the inside reporters scoopers that I always listen to, and they've been getting a lot of things right. So what happens is Sony is losing a crap ton of money, losing boatloads of money on these stupid Spider-Man less films that they're making of the Spider, within his universe of his villains. But because of a contract that they have with Marvel, they can't put Spider-Man in them. So they have a specific contract with Marvel. Well, they could have let me rephrase that. They can't put Tom Holland's Spider-Man in it. They could have put Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man or even Tobey Maguire for that matter if they would have, tried to bring them back. But because of that, they've been trying to just fulfill their contract by making a Spider-Man related film every couple of years. And as we all know, they've been bombing drastically, ridiculously. They lost boatloads of money on every one of these films they've pretty much made, and not only that, they've been bad films, rightfully so. They've lost money. They've been bad films. So the word is that Sony is planning on they've already canceled other upcoming Spider-Verse films. The only thing they might hold on to is this Into the Spider-Verse, but they're even messing that up, because think about it. Look how long they're taking. They keep pushing it back. And they're losing a lot of steam for that movie. That movie has lost a lot of steam. I don't know what is taking them so long with this film. And they kept pushing it back. And I don't even think the film is even done yet. So
it should be, because I thought they did them both at the same. They
supposed to do them at the same times, but I heard something about not reshoots, but some rewrites and things. They was redraws. Yeah, right. That's what we doing. I don't know, but it's looking really heavy that Sony might just have to sell while they can, sell it back to Marvel while they can, because what they're doing is lowering the value of the IP, because they're making films that nobody wants to see. And now, because Marvel makes the Spider-Man films, they usually are the spearheads, right? When they make these Spider-Man films, because when they left it up to Marvel, Spider-Man films made $1 billion, right? So they got that little contract thing going with Marvel. And they might decide to pack it up and just say. And then there was rumors of Sony planning to purchase DC from Warner Brothers. don't know how big of that rumor is. I don't know if that would be a good move for them anyway. But so there's a lot going on in that world, but it's looking kind of up for Disney and Marvel because it's funny, they're just sitting back and letting Sony shoot themselves in the foot because, they made a smart deal by saying, okay, whenever you do a Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, it will be in partnership with us. We will take the helm creatively to make sure the movie is successful. Sony at that point really just has to sit back and collect checks. Really, they don't have to do anything else, which is what they should have did in the first place. They should have just been like, okay, we'll still hold on to the IP, but you guys go ahead and make the Spider-Man movies, and we'll just mail the check to ABC Sony Street, and we'll just collect the money.
I don't agree. No, they shouldn't have.
Why?
Listen,
Why? They're failing. They are failing.
Hold it. You can say whatever you want to about the extended Spider-Man universe with Craven and all that. I'm in total agreement with it. But selling Spider-Man stuff, I mean, you guys acting like Sony hasn't put out a decent Spider-Man movie. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Spider-Man 2 considered? Doesn't matter.
10, 20,
it don't
20 years.
It does
matter, Ralph, because we are in the now. This has nothing to do. No one cares about those movies anymore. To be quite honest, no, you know that nobody cares about those movies anymore. No, Spider-Man is not Tobey Maguire. Spider-Man is not Andrew Garfield. Spider-Man is Tom Holland, and that's who people care about, and that's who people care to see in a movie.
And which out of those Tom Holland movies that he did Spider-Man, which one was the biggest one?
What do you mean?
Which one was the biggest grosser out of those 3 Spider-Man movies that he did? Which one was the biggest grosser?
The last one. No.
That had who in it?
Yeah, it had the other Spider-Man in there.
Enough said.
That's not enough said. But see, here's the deal, Ralph. This is the problem, though. That's all good, but Sony wasn't able to pull that off themselves. They needed Marvel. What about the movies before that one? The first one, I think, made $1 billion. The one that they made a Homecoming. So
I think the only one that hit $1 billion was the last one, not the first 2.
I think the first one.
I'm a check.
Yeah, look it up. I'm pretty sure the first one tipped at I think it tipped at $1 billion. That was the first Spider-Man MCU movie. Where the heck is Spider-Man Homecoming? Do I have it in here? What the heck is it?
Let me see here.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, it made $880 million.
$880 million. Okay, $880 million. First one. So they know how to make the money because it's Marvel. They know the Marvel recipe, right? So Sony should have never, like I said, if you want to
hold it. But not for nothing. When the original Spider-Man that came out, that made $825 million. So you're really talking about
Ralph. You're talking 20 years ago.
But look at what still. But my point is that if it made $200 million and the Marvel version made $800, now your situation is much more dragging. Sony can make a decent Spider-Man movie that they can make. All the other stuff, that's the different problem.
They can make one. It's what have you done for me lately? They haven't proved that they alone can make one, because what happened is, what was the last Spider-Man movie that they made? Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that movie was not that great of a movie. So with that being said, they know that
It
they
made
were
700. It made $716 million. So it made
Mhm.
$750 million. I don't think that's actually chump change. I don't think that's chump change.
No, I'm not saying it's chump change, Ralph, but the bottom line was people, the film itself, we know that that was the worst film in the Spider-Man, probably in the whole Spider-Man universe. Was that film was the worst
Maybe
one.
so.
No, not
Maybe
maybe.
so.
That was the worst one.
Nah,
Like,
I might go with Spider-Man 3. I might go with that one.
Yeah, okay. It's close.
Yeah, it's close.
It's close between the two. Because Spider-Man 3 everyone was so excited about that because Venom was in it, right?
Yeah, and even that was gross almost $900 million.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
We're not talking like 200 million worldwide, 300. We're talking close to $1 billion. That's not chump change.
It's not chump change at all.
When you got the right people,
they had kind of after Amazing Spider-Man 2, Sony didn't even know where they were going. The storytelling on it was off because they had no idea where they was going with the Spider-Man universe. And they were seeing that people were starting to lose interest. Yeah, you're going to say, oh, well, it made this much money, so how does that mean people were losing interest? They were listening to the people. They were, people were disappointed with it.
And
it made a lot of money.
I don't even agree with that part. I think I don't agree with the part. I think started the call saying, when is Spider-Man coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Because now the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's a different story. If there was no Marvel Cinematic story, would Sony had continued making their own Spider movies? Yes, I am in total agreement with you. All these shoot-offs that they have done, you shouldn't have did nothing of that stuff. Even Venom, I like the first Venom was pretty cool. The second was just so. The third was just like, what the hell were you thinking? We're not even going to talk about Morbius. We're not going to talk about Madam Web.
Oh my God.
We're not going to talk about Craven.
But unfortunately, you got to talk about them because they were doing these movies basically to fulfill their contract because they have a certain obligation to make a Spider-Man-esque movie in order to keep their IP or whatever so it doesn't expire or whatever the case may be. However, one of the best moves and worst moves that they did was agreeing with Marvel to pretty much lease Spider-Man to them, and Marvel put him in Captain America Civil War. And once that happened, that was it. The fans, they all wanted, they're like, listen, we got a taste of Spidey in the MCU. Oh, we need this now. This is what we need. So now the fans aren't going to accept anything else. Sony has ran their course. No one wants to see Sony make a Spider-Man film. They want Spider-Man to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and respectfully, where he belongs in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And not for nothing. Since you just said, Mark, there's nothing saying. Well, I mean, the contracts. What's to sit there and say Sony could make a Spider-Man movie and bring someone from the Marvel Universe into their movie? It would be this. That's what I'm saying. Except for the contract, they can't do it. But what if they could? What if they legitimately could? I agree. I said you're right, but I said was what if they could? What if they could? But what is Sony?
Think about this.
Hold on a second before you say that. 1 second. What if Sony said, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We want to see something. Why don't we offer you a trade? Give us a chance to make a Spider-Man movie where we're gonna have our storyline, but let us take someone from your universe and bring it into. We do it. Let's see how it does, and in return, we'll give you Spider-Man in the next movie. Like we'll put some sort of agreement together for Spider-Man to join your universe for an extended period of time. Let's talk. Let's see if someone thought about that one. But my question is, if that was to happen, do you not think that Sony could make a decent Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, bringing someone from Marvel's universe into it?
No, I'm gonna say no. I'm just saying though, because I don't have any faith in Sony at this point. I think they ran, because it's more than just saying, okay, I'm gonna use this character, because they could have made a movie. They could have did a Spider-Man movie and maybe tried to partner with Universal and put the Hulk in the movie or something like that. That's still a character that Marvel doesn't have full control over, right? In the cinematic universe. So they could have maybe said, hey, let's do a deal with Universal and let's put Spider-Man in the movie. Let's put the Hulk in the movie, right? Or and maybe they would have got, something. I just don't think, they are up for, taking on that challenge. Because number one, the fans are already trained. They don't want Sony no more. They want Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe where he belongs, period. So at this point, Sony they're starting to feel like they might be better cutting their losses and selling it back for a good, gazillion dollars, selling the IP back to them, and then moving on to something else. Hence is what they were talking about.
They want
possibly looking at DC.
It says here Sony wants $10 billion for the rights of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
10 billion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Is Marvel really going to pay Sony $10 billion for the rights of that character?
Well, he's worth it. He's definitely worth it, because with that you get all of that Marvel would have pulled. First of all, Marvel would have pulled off these side movies and would have did them right. That's number one. First of all, they would have put Spider-Man in them. That's the first thing they would have did. Second off, you gotta remember, it's more than just saying movie, this movie, that movie. What comes along with the Marvel Cinematic Universe are the cachet, the people that are attached to it, the minds behind it, the producers behind it, the directors behind it, the writers behind it, Industrial Light and Magic. All of those things come with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sony can't compete with that, bro.
Well, Wes, didn't ILM do the first Spider-Man movies for Sony? Didn't they do it?
Yeah, no, you're missing my point, dude. This was before Marvel stepped into the plane and what are the youngins saying? This is before Marvel entered the chat, right? Marvel has now entered the chat. All bets are off now. Sony, sit down. All right. It's just that place. If this was before then, it's just like the same with Fox with the X-Men movies. They did their thing for back then, for when it was. Marvel wasn't in the conversation at the time. Marvel creates their own studio. That's all people want to see now. That's all people have been talking about since the sale of Fox. When are they bringing the Fantastic Four and the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? We're now getting the Fantastic Four, and we've already got a couple of X-Men pop up in movies, So, yeah, man, it's at the end of the day, what the fans really want is for Marvel to be able to have control. Those films, you don't think those films would have been a little bit better, if Marvel had something to do with them?
I'm going to sit there and say, yeah, I do think they would be. Well, wait. I'm putting that with a caveat, because I would say, well, with Marvel said, should we even do these spinoffs? I think that would have.
I could see Marvel deciding to do Venom.
That's it.
Yeah, I could definitely see them deciding to do Venom. But guess what? Spider-Man would have showed up in Venom, even if he was just a cameo. He would have showed up in Venom if Marvel did it. Even if they, I have nothing against, Tom Hardy, great actor. We know that the story, the scripts wouldn't have been the way they were. I doubt Venom would have took place all the way on the West Coast instead of in New York where it should have took place, you know, it would have been different, and Marvel would have did it better. I doubt Marvel would have did a Madam Web at all. That probably would have never happened. But I could see Craven, maybe Craven, but once again, they wouldn't have did it. Craven would have showed up in a Spider-Man film.
Exactly. He would not have got a solo movie. They was like, no.
He would have showed up in a because they would have did by now all this time that Sony has had the Spider-Man IP, and they've never done the Sinister Six. Marvel would have been done that. Marvel would have been done the Sinister Six by now, which is one of the biggest and best runs of the Spider-Man comic series as and the animated series. They would have been done that. Sony had no idea what they were doing. And they didn't know. When you look at that last film they did, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, they teased the Sinister Six and had no idea what they was doing with it. You saw what they did with the Rhino, for crying out loud. A big a guy in a mechanical Rhino. Oh, it was bad. And even the way they did Electro. Look what happened when Marvel did Electro. He actually looked like he was supposed to look. He looked more like he was supposed to look. I mean, obviously he never wore that stupid outfit that he's from the cartoons, but they did something that kind of made him look like that. And did him right. So when Marvel had the helm and brought those characters in that we knew and we saw, whatever, they pretty much fixed Electro, because the way Sony did it was terrible. And of course they brought back the other characters that was pretty much the same. Yeah, man. Let's just like Chris what's his name? Chris Evans says, man, Marvel's got the recipe, man. They got the recipe. And let's be honest, man, Spider-Man belongs here. Belongs with Marvel, because now you could take he said Joseph says, what about the Shocker? Yeah, the Shocker was always a low-level villain. He's like, you should see him. Spider-Man should be packing up the Shocker at the beginning of a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like chasing the Shocker, pack him up real quick. The Shocker was garbage, really. He was never.
He's sea level. He's sea level.
He's sea level. The villains that, once again, Sony never did. The villains that always gave Spider-Man a problem. They did a couple of them. Doc Ock, they did, of course. That was the best movie. And to their credit, one of the best movies in the whole Spider-Man catalog is Spider-Man 2. I can't take that away from them. They did Doc Ock. They did Green Goblin. They did Sandman, who also is a character that always gave Spider-Man problems, with Sandman. But they completely messed up Venom. They completely messed up Hobgoblin. And if it wasn't for Willem Dafoe, in my opinion, they would have messed up the Green Goblin, because I hated that suit that they gave the Green Goblin. But Willem Dafoe was so good as Norman Osborn, he pretty much saved it. And but they never did the Scorpion. He's one of the most. He gives Spider-Man almost the most problems. Is the Scorpion. They never explored it. They never did it. And it's just like, yeah, man. I think they're kind of running out of. I think they don't really know what to do at this point. Shout out to Bruce Penn. What up, brother? It's in there. He said low-level characters are never shocking. That's funny. Yeah, the Shocker was just not. He was just not a good character. They even kind of made fun of him in Homecoming, right? Because I think it was Bokeem Woodbine who was gonna be a character that was supposed to be the Shocker, because he had that weapon that the Shocker uses, and they made fun of the name. Michael Keaton was like, I mean, what does that mean? You the Shocker? What's that? He shock things. Like, he shock things. You know, Spider-Man was forever. You read the comics, Spider-Man was always cracking on the Shocker, right? He was always like, yeah, who are you? You know, I think he said something that was in the cartoon as well. He's like, another one of you guys. And, you know, Shocker's, his suit is all cushion. You know, that's what he called him. He said, what do you call yourself? The cushion? Because he was like, he had all that, the pin cushion type of material for his, I guess he can't wear any metal because he shocks people. So, yeah, man. 10 billion is steep, but it's worth it because now you get everything in that universe that Sony didn't explore. They did the freaking all Sony would have had to do, and I'm surprised they just wouldn't. I think at this point they're just afraid to try to do their own Spider-Man movie, because even with the contract that contract they got with Marvel kind of limits them of doing the Spider-Man movies like by himself. At least with Tom Holland Spider-Man. But why haven't y'all you introduced him in Into the Spider-Verse? Why haven't you done a live action Miles Morales movie? You might be able to get people back on your side if you pull that off and do it right. Hasn't done Miles Morales. They could do Miles Morales. You know, the contract they got with, if I'm not mistaken, the contract they got with Marvel covers Spider-Man Peter Parker. You know what I mean? So they can go ahead and slide off and do Miles Morales on their own if they want to. But, you know, they acting like they don't know what they're doing. So this becomes an issue here. So, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. But, you know, I think it's time for Spidey to come back home. I honestly think it's time for all of the characters. Really, the only ones left is Spidey and Hulk. They're the only ones left that are not back home under Marvel at this point. So it's time to bring them all back, and they'll make that money back. They'll make it back. It'll be over time, but they'll make it back because they can now go in. I guarantee you this: if
That's
Marvel
a lot of optimism. That's a lot of optimism.
If Marvel gets back Spider-Man IP, they will make Miles Morales because they're already teased him and stuff like that in the live action universe. They'll do it. They'll know how to capitalize on it, and they'll bring in Miles Morales along also with Peter Parker. So, I mean, it's a lot of optimism, as you say, but there's so much that still can be done with Spider-Man, because now once you get everyone under the same umbrella, now you can start mixing and matching again. You could start popping Spider-Man in, you know, you can have Daredevil just like you put him in the last movie, right? Now you could put Spider-Man and, you know, do like what they did, do that like they do in the comics. Sometimes you'll have a crossover.
You got, you know what? I hate to be the pessimist here, but that sounds really good. But people, I hear always saying, well, Tony could just do this. You put this in, and like, you guys have like these companies, y'all still gotta pay these guys. You still gotta pay the guys, right? So you saying, well, just put Spider-Man with Daredevil. Well, if Ryan Reynolds wants $20 million and Tom Holland wants $20 million, that's $40 million for you talking about anything else. It becomes too damn expensive to do, which is probably one of the biggest reasons why it hasn't been done.
Ryan Reynolds isn't Daredevil.
You didn't say Daredevil. You said
Daredevil. I said Daredevil.
Oh, well, Daredevil. Well, even with that one, because they already said they're not going to have even if you want him to come to the movie. But that's probably one of the biggest reasons why you don't have those mixing matches, because they still got to pay these people. And while it sounds good on paper, sit there and say, "Oh man, I can finally get my childhood dreams. I can finally see this character with this character going." They still got to pay these people.
Yeah, I know that, but they literally did it with at least 3 movies. And all 3 of those movies made,
but that's $1 billion. That's all fan service. That's all that it is. I mean, and let's be real. The thing with Wolverine and Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds himself was building that. I mean, realistically speaking, Hugh Jackman been in all 3 of the Deadpool movies. I mean, all 2 of the Deadpool movies, in some way, shape, or form, he's in the movie. That was just bound to happen. The only thing that was really holding that was Hugh Jackman. And how many Brinks trucks did they back up to his front door to get that done? You know, you still got that's the thing. You got to pay these guys. It ain't so easy. While doing a comic book sounds really easy, in real life.
Well, Ralph, they've done it. They've done it more than once. You did it. You had crossover characters with, obviously, Infinity War and Endgame. You had crossover characters with Deadpool. You had crossover characters with the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. You had crossover characters.
Yeah, but
you had crossover characters in Spider-Man: No Way Home.
But that all calls into their contract. So Cumberbatch being Doctor Strange in Spider-Man, if he signed a 7-picture deal, that's part of his 7-picture deal. That's not something separate. So if you sign your 7-picture deal and you get paid $100 million, guess what? This is one of the movies you've done. It's not like we're gonna give you a brand new contract to do this one-off because the fans want to see it. That's a different story.
So it's not a different story, because when you bring them in to the, I don't understand why you're saying it's how you say it's a different story. If they get the rights back and they do everybody's contract the way they do everybody else's contract. How much this many movies, right? And this many movies might include a movie that's gonna cross over to another movie. So, this is what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is.
Isn't that what one of the things, the guy that runs Disney, when he was talking about these exaggerated contracts that we need to start cutting back and productions and paying out? I mean, he the man that owns the company, not Feige, the guy above Feige, said we need to start cutting back this thing because we have these outrageous amounts of money on films. A lot of films we don't get the same return.
Well, what he said was he didn't say cutting back. He's saying we need to start putting out less films per year. Less films per year. It has nothing to do with what the films are going to be and how they're going to work and who's going to be in them. It's about not flooding the market with a bunch of films in 1 year. That's where you're putting in, especially the ones that end up don't doing as great. That was him speaking on the fact that the last few movies at that point didn't do the numbers that they wanted it to do. So it's like, hey, the superhero fatigue, whatever it is that they blamed it on. Plus, he was, with the, they put a lot of money. They pumped a lot of money into Disney Plus. They pumped a lot of money into that that they probably shouldn't have, but they were trying to take advantage of the pandemic, like everybody else was. Everyone panicked, and everybody started doing all these things with their everyone wanted to get a streaming service, right? And they put a lot of money into that and lost a lot of money putting into Disney Plus, especially with movies and stuff like that. So that's really what what you call it, come back to kind of regulate. Because remember, he had left and then he came back to kind of regulate. They bought him back. Obviously, he didn't come back just to come back. They bought him back and paid him a crap ton of money to come back and kind of get things back under control. Because it wasn't just Marvel; it was other Disney brand, other Disney titles as well. you know, that they needed
Star
to
Wars
grab
just
control of. Yeah, Star Wars as well as regular Disney titles. You know, the live action Disney movies have been, you know, so.
crapping.
Yeah, they've been so crapping out, getting a lot of them are getting a lot of review bombs, and you know, you got your people that are just mad to be mad. You know, they didn't want a black Little Mermaid, and they were boycotting the movie and this, that, and the other. You face those things, but then you have, you know, movies like, well, this is after Dude came back. You know, they just did this. What was that? Snow White. That movie was awful.
Bomb.
Movie was, and it didn't just bomb. It was bad. It wasn't even good. It was bad. Like my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter, was watching it, and she was like, "I don't like this movie," and she wanted to turn it off. She turned on The Lion King. She was like, "I don't like this movie," and I knew she wouldn't, because she doesn't even like the original Snow White. Let's be honest, bro. The original Snow White was garbage. I mean, it was good, I guess. It was trash. It was boring.
On,
it was, you know.
How you gonna say that George singing High Ho was boring? I mean, come on.
They were the best part of the movie is the dwarfs, but the original Snow White, I never liked any of that. You know, I didn't like that movie. And when you look at it,
stop hating.
When you look at
Stop
it
hating.
now.
Stop hating.
When you look at it now, you're like, they're the worst story. It had the worst singing, because that singing was, you know, the singing was, it's like half opera singing. You know, that's how the old school was back then, and people liked it back then because for what it was. The best thing about it, obviously, was the dwarves, but that movie was corny, man.
Man, stop hating. Stop hating.
I ain't hating. That movie was corny, bro. So I knew, and I tried to show that, and I do the kid test, man. I tried to show that to my 5-year-old, and she was like, "This ain't it." She wasn't with it. You know what I'm saying? And she liked some of the old ones. She liked, you know, Beauty and the Beast, and she liked, you know, some of the older ones. I don't remember if she watched.
No, you gotta take it all the way back, like Bambi, Cinderella.
She watched Bambi. She watched the 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah,
like she watched the older films.
My favorite is I don't know why. I just love the Rescuers. I don't know why. I just love the Rescuers.
Wow.
I love the Rescuers. I don't know why, but I love it.
101 Dalmatians was always my my joint. And but yeah, she didn't like it. So it's all good, man. I think now, what do you think about the rumor of Sony thinking about buying DC from Warner Brothers?
No. I got about.
Do you think Sony could do nothing with DC?
See, because it's not that simple. It also would be who you. It didn't even direct it. Who you got writing the scripts? If you try to listen, you guys could probably do a decent Superman because you. Oh, what I'm talking about now is Harry Potter. Yeah, you guys could probably give me a decent Superman. You might even be able to give me a decent Batman. But could you give me an Aquaman or a Wonder Woman? I don't know. Could you give me another Flash? I don't know. It really boils down to who you got writing it, and better yet, it really boils down to who's the team you guys are going to pick to do that. Because while it is very true, any boob could make a Batman movie. Let's be clear. Any boob, any halfway decent director can make a Batman movie. Let's be clear about that one. But
why you say no? But why you say any boob can make a Batman movie?
I'm even gonna say that any boob.
Bro.
No, I'm gonna say that. I don't know why I say that, because you
a good Batman movie.
No, that's not what I said.
That's
a Batman movie. And I said why any boob can make it, because you do have guys that make these fan Batman movies that are not honestly not that damn bad. They're not bad at all, right? That's what I'm saying. Any boo can make it, but however, you got to have someone really great to make a decent Batman movie, right? I mean, because this what I'm saying is that you have to follow up Norton and Reeves. We're past Burton and Schumacher. You have to follow those two guys, you know. So you gotta do a Batman that's grounded in reality without thunder and lightning and super beings floating around, right? You gotta. I mean, I guess you could throw him in there because you do have Snyder's version where he has gods in there, but it really boils down to me like who you have as your as the team. You got to have a team of guys that's going to be dedicated to trying to build Sony's DC universe equivalent or somewhat equal to Disney's Marvelverse. If you're not going to have the right guys, you're just going to get some person because they got like 30,000 TikTok views or they can make a hot YouTube video, then stop it because you just because now you're just throwing money out the window.
Wow.
That's it. You know, people, these companies I think have gotten to a point now. It's like look at the exhaustive search they've been doing for the next James Bond director. They finally found out who they get. They didn't get some guy that they went. I think got as someone said, probably one A, 1B of the two best directors working today, Villeneuve, to do the next James Bond movie. But the guy said, I've been a huge fan of James Bond since the beginning. I live James Bond. You got a bunch of people that only know Daniel Craig's James Bond, and that's it. That's all they know. What about the other ones? Because you got, and they bring us and say, listen, I want a Bond that could kill you, but he still knows how to, you know, really do a vodka martini. He knows about wines, and he's a car connoisseur. He knows about clothes. He's still suave and cool, not some thug walking around with his knuckles dragging the concrete. I don't want that Bond, you know.
Well, but what do you think the new director? What direction he's going to go in?
See, that's the problem because you've already given us Bond day one.
Yeah.
Right. You've already done that.
And I'm sorry, I have to say it may or may not be true, but a lot of these type of not reboots, but these type of day one movies, I credit Christopher Nolan for doing Batman Begins. Yeah, I give a little bit of credit to Christopher Nolan for Batman Begins because Casino Royale was basically Bond Begins. You know what I'm saying?
He showed you how to do it.
He showed you how to do it.
He showed you how to do it. You know. Yep. So I don't know the direction that they're going. And then the other thing with the Bond movie is that do you drag any elements of Craig's Bond into your new Bond? Like, because someone said, right, listen, the guy that played Q in the original Bond series, he went through Connery, Lansbury, Moore. He went all the way up to Bronson. Do you drag him? Do you bring back Ray Fiennes as or Naomi Harris as Moneypenny and M? Do you bring those characters? Do you give us brand new people playing these characters? There's a lot of questions in that. But if you start lumping, if you say, okay, we're not going to bring back Ray Fiennes, we're not going to bring back the guy that plays Q, we're not going to bring back you got to get someone quality that's replacing them. You can't go and give us some scrubs, you know. Because they rounded out the movie. Even Judi Dench, they all these sub characters rounded out the idea of who Bond is and what was his motivation for doing stuff, right? You know, and I mean, come on, Judi Dench gave James Bond a soul, you know, and in a small part, who's going to be the Bond girl? Because I'm sorry, man, Eva Green, tough to come after Eva Green. Even the girls that came after her, it was tough to come after Eva Green because she reset the mark. You know. Yeah.
It's. Do you have an idea? There's a lot of questions. You have an idea of who you want to see as Bond?
The only guy that I kind of sort of see, and I said last week, is Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'm kind of feeling him. I think he's got a build that you can build on, like body wise, but I think he could be a decent James Bond. He's young enough to be the guy. I mean, I guess he's kind of suave. Kick Ass, he was kind of cool, nerdish, but still, I could kick your ass. So yeah, I think he could do it. All lot of other people like Henry Cavill, like I said last week, I just think he's too big. Dwayne Johnson is a hell no. I did like the choice of the guy that plays Jack Reacher on Reacher TV, but the same thing, he's too damn big. The guy has to blend in, and someone with that much muscle on him is not like you sticking out like a sore thumb. That's my only. That's like if Cavill,
what did you say about Aaron Taylor? You think he's too big?
No, he's not too big. I think he has the right body type where he could walk around and blend in, and no one say, "Oh yeah, that guy's a cop. That guy's an
he's
agent.
something. Yeah, he's an agent or something.
He's somebody. Like, oh man, he's nobody. He's nobody.
Yeah, he's nobody.
It's like if you look at John Wick. I mean, we all know that Keanu Reeves. I mean, if you just looked at Keanu Reeves himself is not some dude that's intimidating. He's gonna hit you with that look that says you better back up. He's not that guy. But we know who Keanu Reeves is, and he is that dude that can fuck you up bad quickly and badly.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been having some for some reason it seems like the cast was having some technical difficulties on getting on. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. But,
well, since we got this few minutes, I was gonna pose this question to you and Kev. Right. I was talking to a friend of mine about an hour ago. We were just talking about movies. We always talk about, but I just came with this question. So I'm going to ask you this question and listen to this scenario clearly. As I tell this, and Wes, I tell this just for you. This is just for you. Okay.
Okay.
You're smashing Maya, the singer. Maya, the singer. Right.
I know who she is.
She's met her
a few times.
Right. She's about to perform in Miami. You get a phone call. You say, "Hey, babe, what's up? This isn't Maya. Maya is being kidnapped." Right. You want her back. We want $10 million for Maya's safe return. You sitting there saying, "I ain't got $10 million," and God just said, "You $10 million. You have 2 days to get us our money." You hear Maya in the background say, Wes, save me, give him whatever he wants, save me. You hang up the phone. You're sitting there like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Who am I gonna call? You pull out your cell phone. You got 3 numbers. You got Ethan Hunt's, Jason Bourne's, and John McCall's. Right. So you make a phone call. Which of these persons do you tell to either catch the kidnapper, kill the kidnapper, or just hurt the kidnapper? Who gets which call?
Okay, so to catch the kidnapper, I'm gonna say Ethan Hunt. To hurt the kidnapper, I'll say it could be either or. It could be McCall, but McCall will probably kill him. Honestly. So will Bourne, but McCall has a little bit of a moral compass, probably a little more of a moral compass than Bourne, but I'll say Bourne will hurt him and McCall will kill him.
That's what my boy said. That's exactly that's how he put it too.
Yeah,
but we was just talking
because McCall, even though he seems to have that moral compass, but when it comes to his enemies, like he finishes them. He does not leave no crumbs on the table. So that's why I say Ethan Hunt to hunt him down and catch him. Bourne to hurt him really bad on the brink of death, and McCall will end them. Yeah.
Okay. Now here's question 2. The same scenario. You're smashing Maya. You get a phone call. Say she's about to perform in Miami. right? She's about to perform in Miami. You get a phone call saying, "Hey, babe, it's not a phone call. This is the Baba Yaga. This is John Wick.
Jeez.
I got your girl, right? You want her back. It's 14. It's $10 million in 2 days to get your girl back.
Yep.
Same question. Now, who gets the call to get to capture Baba Yaga, kill him, or hurt him?
I think to go after John Wick, man. See, Ethan has the tenacity to do it, but I just don't think he would last hand to hand with John Wick. Ethan never gives up, though. John Wick would definitely have to kill him. You know what I mean? So, Bourne, I think, might have to be the one I send after him. Because Bourne, I believe, can handle John Wick hand to hand, especially in close combat. Not that I don't think McCall can, but I don't know. I think I'd send Bourne after him. He's a little younger. A little younger than McCall. He could probably take a little more punishment. Because McCall, when he got beat down, he was down for months. He was down for like weeks and months. Remember in that last one, he was out of it.
Yeah.
So I think Bourne is a little more durable, and I'd have to send Bourne. I don't know if he'd come out alive, but I think he'd probably have the best chance. Ethan would definitely go in head first, but I think John Wick would kill him. And it's so funny because great minds think alike, Ralph. This is a perfect segue. I've been putting together a spy/assassin versus. I wasn't going to bring it up before, but you just led me into it. This is perfect. I had exactly the same people we talking about was on my list. I threw in I forget his name, but the guy from Taken. I threw in him.
I had kept it, but we was talking about. I said I'm going to keep, because he said because first he said what about John Wick, and I said no, I want to keep it to people that were actually in the military. He says, well,
right,
Wick is military trained. I said yes, but he wasn't in the military.
He wasn't in the military, right?
These three guys were in the military.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
So yeah,
it's funny that you said that, man, because I'm like, I gotta find it now. But I had the verses with the spies, and first it start off with spies, but then when you add John Wick, he's not a spy, so
he's an assassin.
He's an assassin. So I said, okay, to be spies and assassins. So you add in John Wick, you add in James Bond, you add in, as far as spies go. Because I had James Bond, Ethan Hunt, Bourne, just like you mentioned. I had McCall in there. He's not a spy, but well,
he used to be.
Well, he used to be. And then I added in John Wick, assassin. I added in the guy from Taken as a spy. I think I also added in the dude from the gentleman, not the gentleman, the I'm talking about, the
what, Kingsman?
The Kingsman, the dude from the Kingsman who's also a spy. And there was someone else. I added in Salt, Evelyn Salt. There's a list of them. It was a few females.
Well, if you put in John Wick in there, who was trained but not assassin, you got to put Colombiana in there too.
Colombiana. Well, I had in. Well, you could put her in there, and I also had in La Femme Nikita. Yeah, I had her in there as well. Nikita.
Would you put what's the name in there? Matilda.
I wouldn't put Matilda because she hasn't, technically she hasn't been proven to be one, right? So, she ended it as, she learned from Leon, but they never gave her the official movie, so which I'm so mad they didn't. But yeah, man, I'm gonna bring that to the stage next time. It was really cool to have them fight. You know, I was kind of facing them off against each other in the verses. Yeah, I had Evelyn Salt, and then I forgot who else I had in there. It might have been Natasha Romanoff, which is the Black Widow.
She would go in there.
She's a spy and an assassin. She's both.
Yeah.
She was a spy and an assassin. Yeah, Natasha Romanoff definitely has to go in there. Yep, Evelyn Salt. Yeah, it was be interesting. What about my man from Wesley from Wanted, Curbing the Bullets?
Yeah.
He's dope.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you might have to.
Yeah, that's not bad. But yeah, you know, so I'm trying to, think of some others, but that's the main people. And we're going to do that, man, and have them face off against each other. I was even using AI to do like some simulations of them fighting and stuff like that, which was that'd be something different we could do to bring to the people. Like once we have them going against each other just for shits and giggles, we have this AI simulation of them fighting.
I know, like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Fight. So, well, I guess at this point we're gonna have to bring the cast on another time because they've been having trouble getting in. I don't know what happened to them.
There's one more question. There's one more. This is the last question. This is a good question. Right. Once again, you're smashing Maya. Right. She's performing in Miami. Right. Not only does she do her 2-hour show, she gave him another half hour in encores. Right. So you come backstage and she said, "Listen, honey, I'm tired as hell. So for tonight, this is the only time I do this. I'm giving you a hall pass. I'm giving you a hall pass. You could take my." She says, "Here's my cell phone. You can have any girl in this cell phone for this one night only because I'm tired. Who you picking?"
I'm gonna say, "Honey, do you have Priyanka Chopra's number?" And can you distract the Jonas brother for a night? That's where I'm going.
Okay, I like that choice.
Without even thinking,
I might go with that choice too.
Priyanka Chopra. And hey, and it's strictly for why. She is just super gorgeous. Anybody in the world you could say, some people might say, "Oh, I'm gonna get Rihanna, or Beyonce, or Kim Kardashian, or somebody else, or one of these big name billionaires." Nah, I want Priyanka Chopra.
You know what? I got, since you took Priyanka, the one I met her before. I think she's smoking. DeWanda Wise.
She is smoking. I'm really pulling for her to be Storm in the MCU. That would be awesome if she could have. They've already done a lot of fan casting and artwork of her as Storm, and it's really, really impressive. I think she can do it too. But okay, well, we'll find out what happened to the cast. We'll bring them back on next time, and we'll go from there. But yeah, man. Before we go, are you gonna go see Jurassic World, or are you interested in that? Or
I probably will go see it. I heard people say it's so, but who knows? I mean, I'll probably give it a shot. Why not? It's the 4th of July. Why not? But what better way to see a movie? Go see Jurassic World.
That's dinosaur eating somebody. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, check it out. Did you didn't get a chance to see F1 yet?
No. I couldn't see F1 this weekend, but that's a makeup. I need to see it because a friend of mine is in the movie. Oh, I might be able. I gotta talk to her, see if she's gonna come on.
Yeah,
but I have no, not her. I have a friend of mine right? I was going through some old messages. I have a friend of mine that did this, that she's actually in this little movie that came out over this year that everybody's still talking about, Sinners. She's one of the girls in the dance sequence.
Nice.
And she says, she said I can actually see me better when I saw it in 70 millimeter than the
That's awesome.
So I was talking to her, it was like her first movie role, but I might ask her, you want to come on for a hot minute and tell us about that? You know, because she
let her come on.
Because I think I've located her in the sequence. I think when he first starts singing his song, the girl that's standing directly behind him, I believe that's her.
Okay.
Right, but I need to see it in 70 millimeter too. See, that's actually her. Because I forgot I just hit her up saying, hey, I was thinking about you. What's going on? I was scrolling back and she said that I did this movie called Sinners. I was like, back then it didn't register what the hell Sinners was, but I know what it is now. You know, so I was like,
yeah, that's dope, man. It's funny you said that because there's I'm reaching out to a couple of people, graduates from Full Sail. Quite a few of them worked on that film. So I've been reaching out to some of them saying, hey, if anybody wants to come on, you know, they worked on it, not as actors, obviously as crew, but I'd still bring them on, you know, and see what they did with that. That would be fun. By the way, the Blu-ray of Sinners comes out on the 8th, I think, July 8th, and that's what I was waiting on, because that has like the extra deleted scenes and stuff like that on it. So I was waiting on that one. That's why I didn't buy it on digital yet. I actually bought it, but it was pre-order for the Blu-ray, which also is digital. The digital version comes with it, but I'll probably just get the Blu-ray in the mail and put it away, because the digital download version of it will have those extra scenes that you want that's on the Blu-ray. So I'll probably just get the Blu-ray and put it away and save it or something. So, but yeah, that should be cool, man. And we'll
stop making Blu-rays.
I know, right?
What do you stop making?
It. I was gonna keep it. Exactly. Oh God, that's a whole nother. Yeah, I know. That's a whole nother conversation. But I mean,
but you know, now that you said it, I might have to change my choice to the one. I might make it the girl that plays Perlene. I think she is. I was like, yo, who is that? I mean, I knew who it was when I first saw in Batman. I was like, yo, who is that?
She kills it.
I might have to change that a little bit.
That film is just that was a fun film, and I love all the reactors that are watching it now, and everybody reacted to different things. It's fun. So I can't wait for the Blu-ray. I'm definitely gonna enjoy watching it on Blu-ray and watching the extra scenes. So we will have to get up with y'all next week, and we will do it. We'll talk to y'all later, man. Y'all can love us, you can hate us, but don't forget about us.
Don't you forget about me.